What's up guys, my name's Brandon and today Apple released the brand new 2022 iPhone SE, and in this video we're going to be unboxing and comparing all three of the color options. We're going to talk about the differences from the previous generation SE from 2020, we're going to do some little speed tests and camera tests and more. And if you're interested in further iPhone SE coverage or if you want iPad Air and Mac Studio coverage, make sure to subscribe to the channel because I will be testing all of them here on the channel over the next few weeks. Alright, so let's go ahead and unbox the iPhone SE 3rd generation. So Midnight and Starlight are the two new colors this year. There's just a slight change in the shade of black and white. They're pretty much the same, but I will be comparing that in this video as well. So let's go ahead and start off with the Starlight iPhone SE. You can see the box is just like we always have for the iPhones, really nothing different here. We have the easy peel tab right here on the top and then one on the bottom. We can just open it right on up and you can see the Starlight iPhone SE 3. So we're gonna set that to the side to take a look at what else is in the box. So in the box we have our USB-C to Lightning cable and we have our little pamphlet with a little mini Apple sticker in here. And if we take a look at the front of this iPhone SE here, you could see we actually have some labels on the screen protector that it comes in. So it shows a little Touch ID icon down here, and then up in the top left, take a look at this. There's little indicators next to the switches. We have our mute switch there with a matching little mute switch icon along with the volume up and volume down and the power button over here on the side. So that is new. I've not seen that before on any other iPhones. So maybe we'll see that with the iPhone 14 as well, kind of just to get people familiar if they have not had an iPhone in the past. And let's go ahead and take that screen protector off. You can see it is still clear. It just has those little icons on it. And there we go. I guess the shade of white is a little bit different. You can see this is the white iPhone SE 2 on the left, the Starlight iPhone SE 3 on the right. So just a color comparison, you can see it's more of an off-white. This Starlight it's more of like a creamy white, whereas we had a pure white with the previous generation iPhone SE. And if you take a look at the borders on the side, we have a slightly different shade on the side as well. Also around the camera housing, you can see that same shade that we have on the borders. And if you want to see the color comparison of the first generation iPhone SE in silver, the closest that we have to white, you can see this is the color comparison from 2016, 2020, all the way to 2022 here. So first through third generation, you can see the comparison of the lighter shade. We could say white because there is some white on the iPhone SE from 2016 as well. All right, so let's set that to the side and unbox the other colors. We have the red right here, product red. This is going to be the same product red that we had on the second generation iPhone SE and all of the other iPhones in the past because that product red color remains the same. Looks as vibrant as ever. We have the same icons right here on the screen. Let's go ahead and take that off. Get a closer look at the color. As you can see right there, it's a very deep, very contrasty red, everything you're expecting to see on a product red iPhone. Inside, we have the same Lightning to USB-C, and then right here we have our product red pamphlet right here with a small Apple sticker as well. And then last up is the Midnight iPhone SE. So let's go ahead and take these peel tabs off. And there it is. That is the Midnight color. It does look a little bit different than the black. It almost looks, I don't know, a little bit lighter than the black that we see on other iPhones, more of like a blue tone to it. Not really a blue tone, but it's just not as deep of a black as we've seen in the past. A deep true black is on the borders right here. You can see that is a real true black right there. But on the back, it's more of a lighter shade of black, which I like. I think it looks better than just a pure black. So here's what they all three look like together. So the iPhone SE is the cheapest iPhone in the lineup, and it's been refreshed this year with 5G, the A15 chip, which is the same one found in the iPhone 13. We have camera improvements, battery life improvements, and more. It's actually a pretty big upgrade for the iPhone SE. So it comes in three storage variations. We have 64, 128, and 256. The 64 gig is $429, but if I were you, I would just pay the extra $50 to double that storage to 128. And if you wanted to go 256, that'll run you $579. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and boot up the Starlight iPhone SE, and we're gonna talk about the design a little bit here. So the design is the same as the 2020 SE, which is basically the same as the iPhone 8. So it is slightly lighter than the previous generation despite having a bigger battery, but it's really hard to notice unless you hold them side by side. And we can run through the setup process really quickly right here. It's very simple. It's nothing new with iOS 15 that we haven't already seen on previous iPhones. So we're gonna go ahead and connect to our Wi-Fi and it's gonna activate our iPhone. So I do wanna test out the home button and those Touch ID speeds because again, the home button is the same as we've seen previously. It feels the same. Everything about it is the same as the 2020 iPhone SE, but I do wanna test out those Touch ID speeds to see if it's any faster, because we do have that A15 Bionic chip inside, which is very fast and a nice upgrade over the previous gen. So let's go ahead and set up our Touch ID. We're not going to transfer over our apps. We're not going to put in our Apple ID just yet. You can set up iMessage and FaceTime. Let's go ahead and continue on that. Enable location services, enable Siri. You get to choose your Siri voice, which now we have a 5th Siri voice with iOS 15.4. So that tells me this iPhone SE is running iOS 15.4 just from seeing that 5th voice there. I like voice too. We'll set up Hey Siri later on. Continue. We're not going to share. We'll set up screen time later in settings. iPhone analytics, we're not going to share. We'll do light mode, standard display zoom, and there we go. We are set up on our iPhone SE3. So testing out Touch ID, it doesn't seem to be any faster than it was in the previous generation. It's just as fast and smooth as it was before. I mean, it's really gonna be hard to tell really a difference in the two, but I cannot tell a difference myself. We do get 5G now, which is nice. It's sub 6, it's not millimeter wave, but still it is a nice improvement over LTE. It's also going to improve that LTE coverage. So I am looking forward to that and, faster web browsing when out and about. So also inside is the A15 Bionic chip that I mentioned earlier. This is the same chip found in the iPhone 13 and 13 Pro. And not only that, but we also get an additional gigabyte of RAM this year, up to 4 gigabytes. So your multitasking should be better on the iPhone SE3 compared to the iPhone SE2 as well. Now I will be doing a full speed test between these two in the coming days, so make sure you are subscribed to see that. And not only that, but the A15 Bionic chip also gives us several other improvements as well, like battery life. So Apple is now claiming up to 15 hours of video playback compared to 13 on the previous gen. So we can assume that we're gonna get around 2 additional hours of battery life, which is huge for the iPhone SE since the last generation didn't really get the greatest battery life in my opinion. Now, of course, I would not expect all day battery life like you get on the iPhone 13 Pros, but it should be at least a little bit better than whatever phone you're upgrading from, even if that is the previous generation iPhone SE. Now, the A15 Bionic chip also improves the camera on the iPhone SE, and you can see here, this pops up when we first open up the camera app on this SE. It talks about photographic styles, which is a feature that has come to the iPhone SE. We'll set that up later. It's basically just like filters. I will mention that in my first things to do video as well, but that is new here, and that is thanks to that A15 Bionic chip. But not only that, but the A15 also greatly improves the camera and video quality, despite still having that same 12 megapixel wide angle lens. The big difference this year is that the iPhone SE now gets Smart HDR4, Deep Fusion, and those photographic styles that we just mentioned. So Smart HDR4 and Deep Fusion make a huge difference when it comes to post-image processing, and you can see a quick little comparison of the photos here from the 2020 SE compared to this new 2022 third generation SE. And here's also how it compares to the iPhone 13. So pretty impressive from a single firing camera on a budget iPhone. With that being said, there is no night mode on the iPhone SE3, which is unfortunate. I use that a lot more than most people, but I guess Apple had to compromise somewhere since this is about half the price of the iPhone 13. But that's the only real con I can see with the camera so far. But for video, everything is the same as the previous generation. We can still shoot in 4K 60, and we have 3x digital zoom, but that's about it. It's pretty basic, but I'm not complaining. Video still looks great, especially from such a cheap iPhone. And I will have a full speed test coming on the SE2 versus the SE3, but I do just want to run a quick app launching test because I'm so curious. Let's open up Safari first at the same time here. And it looked like the SE3 beat the iPhone SE2 by a good margin there. Let's try the podcast application. So it looked like it opened up first on the SE2, but it opened up to a different tab. So let's go ahead to News. News looked like it opened up first on the SE3. It was pretty close though. Let's open up the App Store. App Store first on the SE3 by a decent margin there. So we did have a pop-up on the SE2, but still beat it by a good bit. Let's open up the camera. Camera looked like it was first on the SE3, I think. Let's switch over to video. Is there any difference in speed? They look about the same right there. If we flip the camera, looked like it was first on the SE3 to show up on the screen. Let's do that one more time. Yeah, very, very close, very similar in speed when it comes to app launching, but I will be testing out like the RAM management and more advanced things like games in my full speed test video. But overall, the iPhone SE3 is a great upgrade, even if you're coming from the iPhone SE2. But if you're coming from the iPhone 6S, 7, or 8, it's going to be a much bigger upgrade for you because you're going to have a much faster processor. Your camera is going to be better because of that post-image processing, and you're going to have much more support for the software. Your device is going to be supported long longer because of the A15 Bionic and the 4GB of RAM that we have in the iPhone SE 3 here. I did also pick up some cases, and I want to show you guys what these cases look like on the iPhone SE 3. So the cases are really nice. They are $35 a piece. They are silicone, as you can see, and we have the microfiber material on the inside, which is nice. Let's go ahead and put the black one inside of the black case right here and see what that looks like. We do have the opening at the bottom, so if you're not a fan of that, you may not like these cases. You know, if you drop it, sometimes it will hit that and, you know, damage your phone. But otherwise, the black looks great here. Black on black is always a good color combo. As you can see right there, that is what the case looks like on the black phone. I do want to put the pink case on the Starlight iPhone because I feel like that will be a more popular combination for this phone. So you can see there, that is what the pink looks like with the Starlight iPhone SE. You see the bottom right there. And then here's what the Starlight iPhone SE looks like in the Abyss Blue case. So it looks a little bit off because of that silver. I wish that was white. It would look better in this blue case, but that is how that looks. I do also want to put the product red iPhone SE in the black case. And I keep saying black, but this is midnight. So here's what the red iPhone SE looks like in the midnight Apple case. So it looks really good. I love the black and red colorway right there. Even the bottom looks solid. I'm personally not a big fan of this part being open right here, fully exposed, but if you are a fan of that, or if you don't mind it, then it's not a big deal. The red is a good contrast off of this black. But there you have it. That is the iPhone SE 3 in all three of the colorways. Pretty similar overall to the iPhone SE 2, but there are some nice differences, and I will be covering more of those in future videos. So if you guys are looking forward to that, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and also let me know with a comment down below what your favorite color is, or if you're upgrading to the iPhone SE 3 or not. But anyways, guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.